You're at your desk in a quiet office, reading a sentence in the monitor glow while the air system hums overhead. A stapler snaps nearby. Your shoulders jump, your chest tightens, your heart hits hard, and your eyes leave the words before you can stop them. For a second, the reaction feels bigger than the sound deserves. The stapler sits harmlessly on someone else's desk, but you are left with a full-body jolt and broken concentration, plus the small embarrassment of being seen flinch. The unfinished sentence waits on the screen. You treat it as random, personal, and purely modern, a distraction problem with your name on it. The cursor still blinks in the quiet after the snap, but the reaction does not belong to the office. It reaches back beyond this setting. Sudden threat could arrive before there was time to think, and the startle reflex became an involuntary defensive movement that throws the body into instant readiness. That fast movement could buy a fraction of a moment for escape when a threat was real. Yet it carries a hidden cost after harmless sounds, a cost tied to tens of thousands of years of human inheritance. That scale changes the embarrassment. This is not a private quirk produced by a bad afternoon, a noisy building, or a distracted mind. Nearly everyone alive carries this reflex. It is ordinary equipment, passed through human bodies so deeply that it can feel like personality when it interrupts someone in public. The distance matters. The office, its screens, its typed sentences, and its small mechanical sounds belong to a recent layer of human life. The reflex beneath them does not. It comes from a human past so deep that the modern setting cannot explain why the first movement happened so quickly. You return to the unfinished sentence, and the interruption feels less like carelessness than an old command passing through you. Tens of thousands of years mark the depth of that command in the human line. The sound is over. The body has registered something that the room does not contain. At a grocery store self-checkout, a cart strikes the metal rail behind you. Fluorescent light hangs over the aisle. Barcode tones chatter from nearby machines. Then the impact cuts through them, and your body answers before the sound has settled. For an instant, you are not deciding what deserves your attention. The response has already taken the lead. It does not wait for a story about the cart, the rail, or the people nearby. It arrives as an involuntary defensive movement, bringing the body toward immediate action. A sharp interruption enters. The response appears. It is not stored away like a memory. It remains ready during ordinary minutes, when you believe you are only choosing groceries, reading a message, or standing still. It can rise without invitation and without a conscious vote. The body moves first, while the meaning of the sound arrives afterward. That independence is what makes the moment unsettling. You can see the cart. You can see the clear floor, the checkout lights, the strangers continuing their errands. You know what made the noise. Knowledge does not get the first move. Your body gives the familiar full-body jolt, and your hand closes around the shopping list. The cart rests against the rail. Beyond that small impact waits the older human world, where such speed first came to matter. Outside the reach of firelight, darkness makes every small sound carry farther. A group stays close to the low flames because their light ends quickly. Beyond it lie brush, uneven ground, and the movements of animals that cannot be seen. Fire holds back only what its light can reach. The rest arrives through sound. A branch cracks nearby. The sharp sound reaches the body before its source has a name. Muscles contract. The shoulders rise, the head pulls down, and the body braces for action. A sudden threat gives no room to inspect the dark before it is close. In that place, delay can leave a person exposed at the edge of the firelight. A fast defensive movement creates immediate readiness. It shifts the body from stillness toward escape, while conscious appraisal is still catching up. The reflex answers the first sharp cue rather than waiting for certainty. Humans whose bodies reacted at that first cue had a response already underway when abrupt danger was real. Those few movements mattered in darkness, near brush, with no wall and no warning. The pattern endured because instant readiness had value before thought could sort sound from source. That movement has not become a memory. When a sharp noise strikes you now, Your shoulders can lift before you know what made it. Your body has already moved before the source of the crack is identified. In a kitchen, a metal pan slips from the counter and strikes tile. The impact is hard, brief, and close. Your head turns toward it. Your eyelids clamp shut. Your arms and torso brace before thought gives the noise a cause. That sequence still has a purpose when sudden movement near the body carries real danger. The closing eyelids protect the eyes. The brace steadies the body. The turn toward the sound directs attention to the place where something changed. A falling object, breaking glass, or a sudden impact can demand that speed before a person has time to build a careful picture. The reflex does not pause at the kitchen counter to decide whether the event deserves it. It receives the sharp cue and sends the body into readiness. In the older world, that delay would have spent the small margin between hearing danger and moving away from it. Here, the pan has already hit the floor. Nothing is coming from the dark. Still, your neck tightens, your eyes close, and your body braces around the sound. The pan is sliding across the tile before your mind finishes naming what fell. The pan lands in a room with cabinets, counters, and a clear floor. There is no animal in the brush. There is no unseen movement beyond the firelight. Yet the impact has already pulled your body into a defensive brace before the kitchen can prove itself safe. The pan stops moving. Your heart keeps striking harder for a moment after the metal has gone quiet. The sound is finished, but the body has not finished answering it. Later you stand at the counter reading a recipe. A cupboard door slams behind you. Your eyes leave the instructions. Your hand pauses above the cutting board, and the next step disappears from attention. Nothing has touched you. The interruption still takes the task away. The pan lies still on the tile, yet the next harmless sound can claim the body before the mind assigns it a place. At a library workstation, the room is held together by keyboard taps, turning pages, and the soft pull of ventilation. You are deep inside a paragraph when a phone alert cuts across the tables. Your shoulders jerk. Your eyes leave the line before your hand reaches for the phone. The alert has no claim on the work in front of you, yet the work loses its place. You read the last sentence again, then again, because sustained concentration has been broken into separate pieces. At a crosswalk, traffic waits at the light, and pedestrians stand beside you. A horn blasts from the lane. Your chest jumps. Your gaze locks onto the street, and the next step stops inside your body. The horn can be aimed at another driver. It can pass without anything reaching you. The bodily surge still arrives, spending calm on a sound that has already explained itself. In a waiting room, a delivery cart strikes a metal doorframe. The impact is brief. Your neck pulls tight, your hands pause, and the conversation beside you disappears for an instant. The response has been set in motion by the abrupt cue. It does not wait for the cart to prove that it is only a cart. The cost lands after the harmlessness is clear. Energy goes into the brace. Attention must be gathered back from the sound. The task, the crossing, the conversation, each receives with the noise left behind. Your fingers rest above the keyboard while the phone lies silent. A sudden sound can interrupt concentration after its source is already harmless. The next moment remains vulnerable to the next sharp cue. A departure chime cuts through a crowded train platform, just as you check the board above the tracks. Your shoulders rise before you read the destination. You tell yourself it is only a signal. The reassurance reaches you after the movement has begun. That is the answer to the safe kitchen. The reflex is committed to the sharp sound before careful evaluation can decide what the sound means. It was shaped to move at the first cue, and modern life supplies those cues without removing their abruptness. Alerts break into quiet rooms. Horns cut through crossings. Doors strike frames in shared buildings. The sound changes from place to place, but the demand for an immediate response remains inside the body. You try to keep reading through the platform noise. You narrow your attention to the board, hold your shoulders down, and wait for the feeling to pass. Then another chime sounds from a different track. Willpower can return attention after the reaction. It cannot grant thought the first move. Avoidance fails for the same reason. You silence one device. Then traffic enters through a window. You choose a quiet table. Then a chair leg snaps against the floor. Abrupt sound is built into the spaces where work, travel, and other people continue around you.